Why is Taylor Swift and her song Anti-Hero so awesome? Well, being a record producer, having worked with a lot of pretty famous artists, I've got my own perspective on things. So let me explain. When she first popped on the scene, I was mostly doing rap and urban records back then, so wasn't really paying that much attention. I had seen her pictures. I thought she was kind of cute. I heard a little bit of the song and I thought, oh, that's nice. But I didn't really take it that seriously. And soon after that, I started working in Nashville a lot more. And when you're in the industry, the music industry, you hear a lot of talk from people. So I'd hear some engineer at some studio say, oh, she can't really sing. She uses autotune all the time. And then I'd be at another studio and somebody'd say, oh, her daddy's rich. He paid for everything and invested in the company that signed her. She was actually their first artist. So he helped fund the label that put her out. And I was like, rich girl, whatever. But then I saw this. This is from the Academy of Country Music Awards show, 2007, 2008, something like that. Ooh. Okay, she was a little off pitch there and her voice was a little wavery, and I remember hearing this and going, well, she's not using auto-tune and she's just putting it out there. She's just being real. She's just singing. It's like, damn, I got to give some credit for that. That's pretty cool. And it wasn't a bad performance. And then I saw this, The Incident. And I don't want to talk about Kanye West. I don't want to talk about him. But for this to happen to her, and just look at her face. I mean, just look at that. It just made me want to protect her. I felt so bad for her. And I was like, I wanted to punch somebody in the face, but mostly I wanted to hug her and give her some support. And then later on, she did a little interview talking about this. Check this out. I found this kind of interesting because they actually asked her about that, and here's her answer.
I had an entire year to process what you think about certain things. And for me, I think that I just write what I feel. And it's hard to explain how you get there, but a lot of times, and this goes back to when I first started writing songs when I was 12. A lot of times, I don't know exactly how I feel about something until I write that song about it. And that's how I know what my opinion is on something, how I feel about something. Music has helped me so much in just getting through life. And that's one of the things I'm very thankful to have discovered songwriting.
Wow. So what's kind of interesting about that is that she actually doesn't directly say anything about Kanye. She's a class act. She addressed it in some of her songs later on, but the things she says about songwriting, I find very interesting because often when an artist is interviewed about their songwriting, they make it sound like some hocus pocus and all that, and she's kind of not very clear. It's very indirect. It's that thing. It's that artist thing where like you don't really know where this stuff comes from. It's kind of a mystery, but how songwriting can actually be like therapy for you. I know it's been that way for me. Her life comes through music, or music helps her life. She's not talking about it as a career or this business and all that. It's like it's actually something an actual artist would say. But what sealed the deal for me and finally made me realize that Taylor Swift is indeed awesome was this. This is from a CMA Awards show, and right off the bat, it's like, oh, it's not a big production. It's just her sitting there playing guitar on a couch. And once again, without auto-tune. But it's her. She's just sitting there playing you her song, sitting on a couch, and she's playing the guitar. This isn't fake. This is really her singing you her song. And it's a good song. It's like melodically, she's not resolving on the root note of the key, which is a technical thing I'm not going to get into, but it's part of what makes this stuff compelling. It's just very well crafted, and it's just real. It's like I'm at a singer-songwriter club listening to somebody play. It's not like some big star. It's not like a big production. It's just somebody communicating to you a really damn good song. And it just made me go, wow, this is something different. This is not a big star. This is not somebody just going out of their way to impress you. She's just communicating. She's just telling you her story, which is what this is all really supposed to be about, right?
But this love is ours.
And this brings me to her song, Anti-Hero, which touches on so many things that creative people struggle with, but yet never really talk about. Now remember, this is from my perspective as a producer and someone who's helped develop artist careers. Let me go through the lyrics here, and I want to talk about a couple things. It starts out, I have this thing where I get older, but just never wiser. Midnights become my afternoons. When my depression works the graveyard shift, all the people I've ghosted stand there in the room. Wow. Well, there's two things in that section there. First off, she says, I have this thing where I get older, but just never wiser. Let me tell you, man, when people become really famous, they become convinced that they're the smartest people around, and their heads blow up. And I've never seen anybody who was famous actually admit that they didn't know everything. So it's quite an admission for her, and I think that's really cool. The other thing is, she says, all the people I've ghosted stand there in the room. Well, this actually goes back to something I've talked about in other videos that I've made, but also with the artists I work with, and that is, to move forward in the music business, you're probably going to have to lose all your friends. I mean, I'm telling you, and it's a big subject, but I tell people, like, the worst place to get advice is your friends and family, because they're not looking at you as an artist. They're looking at you as their friend. And it's rather complicated, but they can't really judge you the same way. And the other thing is as you move through the music industry and you start becoming a full-time professional, your lifestyle is no longer going to fit in with your friends who are like going to the bar on a Saturday night or going to the bingo games or whatever. It just doesn't work that way. You're going to find yourself needing to be around people who can relate to what you're doing and are going through the same thing. And a lot of people get kind of bitter about it and said, oh, he left me behind. It's like, man, they kind of have no choice. And beyond that, even as you're working through your career, there are times where your creative vision is taking you somewhere new, where even the people you might have worked with on your last album are not the people you need to be working with on your next album. And you need to sometimes cut off outside influence so you can go down that rabbit hole. It makes me think of a song off Neil Young's album Harvest Moon. It's called One of These Days, where he actually sings about this. That he's going to write a letter to all his old friends and kind of apologize for this stuff. Although when you listen to the song, you realize he's probably never actually going to write the letter. I should not be left to my own devices. They come with prices and vices. I end up in crisis. Tale old as time. Well, when she says I should not be left to my own devices, I mean, most artists are their own worst enemy. They often make terrible decisions, and I'm figuring by now she figured out that she should maybe let some other people make decisions and trust them. And then when she says they come with prices and vices, well, it's this thing in the music industry where we don't have normal relationships. They tend to be transactional. And often it's hard to tell where the friendship relationship ends and where the transaction, the business part begins. It's tough, but it's a hell of a mission. I wake up screaming from dreaming. One day I'll watch you as you're leaving because you got tired of my scheming for the last time. Well, let me tell you, to move through the music industry, you have to leverage so many things, your opportunities, relationships. You can find yourself looking at every relationship as to how it furthers your career. Well, she's obviously got a conscience and is revealing a lot about an artist's life. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. At tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting always rooting for the anti-hero. Who sings about this stuff? I mean, it seems to me that everybody's so worried about appearing invincible and strong, but trust me, no one is like that. Everyone has doubts and insecurities. I feel like being a great artist is about being vulnerable, which she's obviously not afraid to do, but most artists out today can't or won't do this. When she says, I'll stare directly at the sun but never in the mirror, what I think she's talking about there is about, obviously self-reflection, but many artists, though they'll look at their own emotions deeply and they'll look at that stuff, they're tending to do it from a very one-sided sort of perspective. It's their emotions, how they feel and how they see it. but yet they'll rarely be self-reflective when it comes to business decisions or the way that they treat the people around them or the impact that their actions have on the people around them that are supporting them. Later she sings, "Did you hear my covert narcissism I disguise as altruism, like some kind of congressman, tale old as time." I'm sure she's come off as some kind of narcissist to some people, but to be an artist or a front person of a band, you really need to be kind of a narcissist. You've got to be full of yourself. You've got to believe that you're incredible because this business is so hard. The hits you take to survive in this business, you have to be able to withstand ridicule and humiliation every single day. However, if she were truly narcissistic, she wouldn't even be able to conceive of being a narcissist or even admit it. But what I think she's doing is being honest about being selfish and self-centered, which a certain amount of that is a requirement in this business. There's more lyrics basically talking about the same thing, but the biggest reason I think that this song is awesome is because it's talking about mental health, personality issues, which everyone has to some degrees, but artists usually have a lot more. I've worked with artists who dwell on this stuff, and I think they're trying to figure it all out before they move on. And while it's important to work on your limitations, your emotional issues, your insecurities, whatever, you just can't spend all your time staring into your belly button. It's going to take years or decades to figure this stuff out, and you'll probably never really figure it all out in your lifetime. If you want to have a career as an artist, you got to move on in spite of yourself. Everyone I've worked with has some sort of issue or a handicap, and it's important that you move on. It's better to make a bad decision than to make no decision at all or take no action. We call it stumbling towards success, and that's why I think this song is so awesome. To me, it's like it's saying you don't have to be perfect or have it all figured out to go out and do the things you need to do to follow your passion or your dreams. You know, as a producer, I want to work with real artists who have a vision or a quest or some meaning and purpose beyond, I want to be famous or I want to be rich or music's fun. You know, I want there to be some value besides it just being a cool song. I want to put something positive into the world. Well, Taylor Swift is doing that, and there's a lot you can learn from this song. And that is why I think Taylor Swift and this song are awesome. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button so you can keep up with when I'm putting out new videos. And also, check out my Twitch channel where I do streams of recording sessions, and about once a month I do special mixing streams. Have a good day, and remember, be unique.